Bueno, se nos está haciendo tarde y ya va siendo hora de ver qué es lo que pasa más allá de este embarcadero. Muchas incógnitas, muchas preguntas. Y sobre todo a un cojo llevando el ratón, que soy yo, que no veo nada de lo que está pasando.
How did Mortimer manage to build his manor at the top of a rocky outcrop?
La verdad que está guapa la casa, ¿eh? Igualita que la de Lionel. Chaval, esa puerta parece la puerta de una catedral. Fíjate si he tardado en meterme en la mansión, que se estaba haciendo de día ya y todo. Pinta bien.
Impressive.
La música
My
acompaña.
son, I was looking for you.
What can I do for you, Your Eminence?
I wanted to ask you. You are the son of Sara de Ricci, aren't you?
De Rich.
You see, your mother and I were supposed to meet here on this very spot. I was supposed to hand her a very important envelope. But I haven't seen her.
If only Mother had told me why she was coming here.
Convence a Piaggi de que te
Anyway, I ought to take the envelope. It might have something to do with her disappearance. Listen, if it will help, you can always give it to me.
Confrontaciones. Durante una confrontación deberías avanzar por distintas fases mientras tratas de ser lo más persuasivo posible. Las confrontaciones tendrán consecuencias en el resto de la historia. Así que no dudes en usar tus habilidades. O sea que me tengo que guardar los puntos esos de habilidad para ahora. Oh shit, pues no me tomé la cosa esa. Vale, pues a ver cómo va esto. No tengo ni idea.
Thank you, my son. I'll bear that in mind. I'd rather deal with her directly. Don't take it personally. Would you happen to know if your mother has arrived yet?
Y yo hace un par de semanas que más da, deme la carta. Hombre.
Certainly, Your Eminence. Mother got here some time ago. I was hoping to find her when I arrived, but given the hour, she must be asleep by now.
Right. I shall see her tomorrow then.
By the way, Your Eminence, I wasn't aware you knew my mother.
Ah, if you only knew, my son. I hold your mother in the highest regard. She has rendered great service to the church, and her help is invaluable. I hope that you will follow in her footsteps.
If only she had told me where she was headed.
Nonetheless, our exchanges have always been discreet, and I should like them to remain as such. If your mother wishes to speak to you about us one day, I will not mind if she does so.
That is very commendable. But since we work together on a daily basis, it's surely just an oversight.
Most certainly. You said you work together. What do you do exactly?
No sé qué es la Orden Dorada. Secreto profesional, a lo mejor. Este tío era curioso, así que voy a meterme.
My mother and I belong to the same secret organization, the Golden Order, which I joined a few years ago. Mother trained me, and I assist in her research. In other words, you can trust me.
My child, you are telling a perfect stranger that you and your mother work for a secret society. It would seem that discretion is not one of your specialities, my son. You will understand that it does not encourage me to put my trust in you.
Shit.
Dicho mismo
All the
ya.
same, it bothers me to see you in a quandary, Your Eminence. Is there any other solution? Look, if it's of any help, you can always leave your envelope with me, and I'll give it to her as soon as I see her.
I hesitate. Up till now, we have always dealt with her in person, and that has always been successful. Do you think I should give it to you?
Depende de su contenido. Inquisición nivel 1. Dificultad 3. Te la entregaré si la encuentro. Y aquí que no me interesa, ando con ella.
Listen, you have nothing to fear. I will give your letter to my mother the moment I find her.
The moment you find her? You mean Sarah has gone missing?
Oh, fuck.
Shit, I shouldn't have said that. Let's not exaggerate the evidence. I have no other information at this time. It's probably nothing.
Listen to me, my child. If I give you the letter, can you promise me before God that no one other than your mother will read it?
Confrontación última fase. En la última fase de la confrontación deberás convencer a tu interlocutor dando una respuesta positiva. Si te equivoques, la fase se repetirá hasta que des la respuesta correcta o no te quedes más tranquilo. Te lo juro, distracción bloqueada, no creo en su Dios. Gracias, pero no, de acuerdo.
I swear by the Almighty God to honor the promise that no one but my mother shall cast her gaze upon your letter.
Good. Listen, let's stop there. I'm going to tell you a secret, Monsieur Derice. Your mother and I are organizing the escape of a large number of French priests who face a massacre organized by the accursed Republican tribunals. The church is literally being bled like a beast. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine. She has made the services of your order available to us by organizing the priests' safe passage across the borders. Even if she does not share all our convictions, she always provided assistance. Young man, you can be proud to be her son. Be it only for her sake. Always respect your name. Here, the letter I spoke of. It includes a list of about 15 names ready for departure. Be quick. Remember to tell Sarah when you see her that time is short.
Well played. I'll decide later when I'm alone whether to look at what it contains.
Oh. Elementos ocultos. Encontrarás numerosas pistas y objetos ocultos. Puede que algunos afecten en gran medida al desarrollo de tu aventura. ¿Qué esperarás para encontrarlos? Fue también el inventario de carta de piel sellada. Vale. Entonces... pues hay que observar esto. A ver, ¿la puerta?
Lord Mortimer certainly has a taste for staging rooms.
Ya está. Esto es lo que me van a decir. Abrojo. El abrojo te proporciona el estado exaltado. Te mostrarán temporalmente las inmunidades y las vulnerabilidades que afectan a tus elecciones durante una conversación. No puedes llevar más de 5 encima. Pulsa 3 para usarlo. O sea que eso, si te lo tomas antes de una confrontación de esas, por ejemplo, puedes elegir, puedes saber cuáles son las cosas buenas y las cosas malas que puedes hacer.
Lives of the Noble Greeks and Romans by Plutarch, a biography of the great men.
Sí. Ojea, llévate el libro, hombre. Soy gitano y estoy robando todo el palacio. Coge la columna también, llévatela. Abrázala. Y es columna, por Dios. Vaya techo.
I thought my chimney was big, but this one is beyond belief.
It's the least one can say. I've been longing for a warm fire for ages.
Hombre normal, señora.
Since I set foot on the island, I haven't ventured more than 2 yards away from it.
Have you also just arrived?
Oh, late morning, I'd say.
Louis, come join us. Monsieur, may I introduce you to Monseigneur His Eminence, Cardinal Piaggi. He joins us straight from Rome.
Oh, just call me Your Eminence. It's simpler.
George Washington, President of the United States of America.
Delighted at last to make your acquaintance, Mr. President.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. President. Louis Moras de Riche. It is an honor to meet you.
Young man, let's keep it simple, please. Let us forget our fancy titles. Nice to meet you, Louis.
I should imagine you never thought you'd be in such company.
I must admit that I didn't. It's the first time that I've ever met so many illustrious personalities.
And you haven't seen anything yet. Generally, when Lord Mortimer organizes one of his receptions, there are over a dozen people here.
They can't all be here yet, and you'll see, most of the time there's only the upper crust.
And I noticed you were already getting to know His Eminence at the entrance. It's the perfect place to build up a network. What were you talking about, if you forgive my indiscretion?
No le voy a decir nada de carta. Ahora mismo.
At the risk of disappointing you, we weren't conspiring in our corner, sir. His Eminence was simply telling me that he knew my mother and how much he held her in high esteem.
It so happens that Monsieur de Riche's mother is to join us.
Oh, pity. No scrumptious gossip or juicy tidbits, unmentionable secrets, or even money matters. But you'll see, it will come. Despite all the goodwill in the world, you can't stop people scheming left and right around here.
Speak for yourself, sir.
Madre mía, me echa una mirada el monje en plan...
Well, my friends, do any of you know the reason why we're here this time?
Not in the slightest. As for me, I've been invited by Sir Holm, a close friend of Lord Mortimer, but I do not know the reason why.
You see, Louis, every time Lord Mortimer organizes a reception, he always finds a moment to set up a chat with all the guests.
During which time we remake the world.
Accompanied by gallons of absinthe and cussing. I'll leave you to imagine the result.
So, if I understand rightly, Monsieur de Richet, you've come out here to join your mother. For what reason, exactly?
Me encanta porque cada vez que me preguntan me quedo con la cara de... ¿Qué respondo?
Like you, Mr. President, I'm here as a result of Lord Mortimer's invitation.
Two members of the same family here. That is rare.
You know what they say, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your family.
Seriously, though. I know your mother well. Stay behind with me afterwards, and we'll take a moment to speak about her.
No sé por qué
Good
pulsaba ahí.
Lord, Washington is wearing the emblem of the Grand Master of the Golden Order. It's the highest distinction of the order in the United States. It puts him on par with my mother. He must really know his stuff when it comes to the occult.
Good evening, my friends.
Holy shit. That's the man from my vision.
An urgent case
Hostias.
has delayed our host, Lord Mortimer. He can't be present this evening, and he sends his deepest apologies.
He's asked me here and he hasn't even turned up? Great start. Do you know that man?
Sir Gregory Holm, an English aristocrat, very influential. He's also close to Lord Mortimer, so don't be surprised if he acts like he's at home.
And now, my dear guests, a light meal is served in the small salon. For those who would like to, you're invited to follow me into the next room.
My dear fellow, you must have read my thoughts. I shall follow.
We'll have to be careful not to make too much noise. One of Lord Mortimer's guests is relaxing.
Oh, we shall be quiet.
Don't take it the wrong way, Sir Holm, but I have already eaten. Thus, I shall be happy to remain by the fireside.
If you don't mind, Gregory, I should like to keep Mr. Washington company.
Please feel at home. And you, sir?
If I stay with Washington, we'll be able to speak about my mother. But on the other hand, I'd like to learn more about this home. I saw him in my vision.
Estoy seguro de que luego me voy a poder volver a juntar con Washington. Parece buen tío. Además está con la señora esta, no me va a hablar de nada. Vamos a buscar a...
My vision is more important. Let's follow home. I'll follow you, sir. Mr. Washington, I hope to speak with you at greater length on another occasion. Emily, please excuse me, but I would like to speak to Sir Holm. I shall see you later.
Qué educado es. Otros no dicen ni mierdas. Se quedan ahí con la cara de...
My friend, I hope our dear Giovanni is well.
The troubles in France have fatigued him, but he will recover slowly. Do not fear. He apologizes for remaining in Rome. The voyage was too much for him.
And right he was too. The mildness of the Mediterranean, eh? Come, sit down and have something to eat, my friend. You look rather
No
pale.
tiene buena cara, me lo dices tú.
Excuse me,
Payaso.
sir. I have been neglecting my duty. I haven't introduced myself. Sir Gregory Home, an old friend of Lord Mortimer.
Sobre todo
A
viejo.
real pleasure, sir.
You who must be well used to the court of France. How do you find this peaceful little haven?
Charming if I hadn't come here for disturbing reasons.
Yes, I heard the news. What a story.
Indeed. I wanted to ask you. You seem to know my mother well. Is that true?
Who does not know of her, sir? She has such a wide circle that everyone knows your mother from a distance or closer.
Everyone knows Sarah, my son.
But you only know her by her reputation.
I remember she once worked for the Crown of England and that she always honors her engagements. However, we have never been personally introduced, sadly.
Well, if I'm to believe my vision, you're not going to get along with her. Thank you for your answers, Sir Home. But I beg your pardon. I get the impression I know you. Have we met? Except in my dreams, of course.
Not that I remember, young man. Perhaps you're mistaking me for another member of the Chamber of Lords. What with the wig and the powder, it wouldn't be the first time.
No, you were definitely the one I saw threatening my mother. I thought... Never mind. It'll come back to me. Would you allow me one last question, sir? I don't want to take up all your time.
Please, go ahead. What do you want to know?
Do you know the reason for my mother's presence here?
I haven't the slightest idea, no. She was invited by Lord Mortimer.
But you don't know why.
Not really. I was given to understand that your mother was looking for something.
And do you know how long my mother and Lord Mortimer have known each other?
Several years, I believe. They seemed to know each other for quite a while. But it was the first time that Lord Mortimer had invited her to join us here.
Good. And finally, would it be possible for me to speak with Lord Mortimer this evening?
I'm terribly sorry, no, he really is quite unavailable. But please rest assured that everyone is doing their best to find your mother.
All the same, it's not the Chateau de Versailles. It can't be that difficult to find her.
Worry not, my son. I am persuaded that we shall find the famous Sarah de Riche. No doubt with new adventures to share, huh?
Ah, que es una tía.
Elizabeth! I should have insisted that you rest in your room.
Do you want me to call someone?
Que nos agota el tiempo, seleccionará automáticamente una respuesta. Vale, yo
I'd rather not get involved either. Just sit there a moment. It'll pass. She's slowly recovering.
These fits of hers are quite worrying to see, but normally there are no consequences.
No consequences? Have you seen the state she's in? Can you tell me something about her? The dizzy spell is harmless, but her general condition is frankly alarming. You seem to know her. What is she suffering from?
I don't know exactly, but her father sent her to us in the hope that she would recover all her faculties. It would appear she suffers from episodes of dementia.
Is she aggressive?
Sometimes, but only toward herself. She has never hit out at anyone else, I can assure you of that. She wasn't like that this morning. Something must have upset her.
That's one way to put it.
Oh.
The poor girl is exhausted, but that's not the cause of her problem.
Are you all right, Elizabeth? Do you feel any better?
When did she arrive?
4 days ago.
Okay. My mother had already gone missing.
A ver, ¿podré clicar en cosas? Requiere la habilidad de observación.
She's just regained consciousness and she immediately reaches for her brooch? I don't know exactly what it means to her, but obviously it's got to be something important.
Are you all right, Elizabeth? You gave us quite a fright.
Take it easy, miss.
Let me... I just need to get back to my room.
Of course, my dear. Go ahead. You saw it, didn't you?
Pardon me?
I segni della bestia.
Sorry, Your Eminence. I don't speak Italian.
Forget it. It doesn't matter.
Gentlemen, it's getting late. It is time for everyone to go to bed. It has been a long day.
Madre mía, nene, pero el señor de la bestia eso lo entiende todo Dios. No me seas intercerrado, no me seas tonto. ¿Qué año vivimos? Ah, bueno, 1700, claro. No vas a saber otro idioma. Bueno, vale, me lo creo.
It's all the more delicate.
I'll see what I can do, but the case I'm on at the moment might well leave me with very few opportunities.
Madre mía, tío, parece Drácula esa señora.
Well, I am impressed with all this splendor.
But don't spend too much time with Mr. Washington, my dear, or you'll lose your pretty accent. You seem to be intrigued by that statue.
Absolutely. It is remarkable.
Miras de una forma hiper sospechosa, chaval. A ver si ves ahora.
Oh, it's naughty to tell lies. Bet my life that you were talking about something totally different from the decoration of the manor. But
Qué cara de
to find out
sospechoso que
what,
tengo.
I should have stayed with them. Too bad.
Oh.
Lord Mortimer is fond of atypical works of art. I won't disguise the fact that I find it all a little megalomaniacal. But I must say, he does have some outstanding pieces.
So, who was that young lady with you?
Elizabeth Adams, Mr. President. She would have liked to have stayed with us, but the poor thing is exhausted.
Elizabeth Adams?
Oh. Ya he mirado antes este de aquí abajo, así que voy a mirar.
Just mentioning Elizabeth totally changed Washington's attitude. Looks like he just saw a ghost.
Miss Adams is here to rest.
What?
You have perhaps already come across her in the corridors. She arrived a few days ago.
I perceived her, but we weren't introduced.
Rest assured, she is not here for the same reasons as yourselves. Consequently, I'm counting on your indulgence.
La peluca, la peluca.
Washington looks surprised, but Holmes doesn't seem to see it. I wonder if he's being polite or if he really doesn't see his discomfort.
On that note, it's very late. You must be exhausted. The servant will accompany you to your rooms.
Madre mía, soy un experto observador, ¿eh? Lo dejo aquí. Continuamos ahora después.